certainly on the social side, which was mainly in what we call international development sphere. In some of the early works that I did in that, left me feeling that too much of the development input was coming from people who didn't actually know what was going on the ground. I mean, I spent holidays working in organizations and I could see that while they were good people working hard, they hadn't spent enough time listening. And that was the basis where, when I was invited by Cambridge University to see if I could help them in some way develop their interest in Africa, I said, well, as far as I'm concerned, I think there is a huge opportunity, because the technology of modern communication, the interconnect between that and the more scientific side of Cambridge's social sciences and work on languages, that if we could put those together, there was a chance that we could improve the initial thinking of very bright, very nice people, but which seemed too often to miss the point. And they indicated that they had a very interesting man doing some research into that area, with whom I spent time. He's called Sharath Srinivasam, a very bright individual. And I talked to him for a reasonable length of time and said that if he could get Cambridge University's research funds to pay for half the research costs into working out how best we could put together the information technology, social science, languages, all of which they are very good at, in a development context, then we could see whether we could complete a project which would be available for people to use. When we got to the end of it, we got so excited, we thought, we'll be able to do it ourselves. And so I persuaded, or probably he persuaded Cambridge University that he, as a research project, could take time away from Cambridge and come and start it up on the background of some work he'd already done here in Kenya, in Kibera, and other places, in working and understanding what people thought there and how they interacted with the governance communities, people in the political scene who listened to the radio, and so that there was the beginning of a thought of conversations taking place that were not question and answers, but were genuine conversations that might happen between two people. Clearly, if this can take place among the least hard to reach parts of the community, that was a bonus, that they could happen in languages which not many people speak, but which could take place on a spontaneous basis. So we could listen into those discussions. We would be able to tell all these clever people who run the great development, whether national or international, we could give them a tool that they needed to have the humility to understand the voice of the people at the bottom of the pyramid are important. They aren't totally decisive, because like the rest of us, most of us can make pretty stupid comments, but in total, we would be able to listen to those conversations, as I say, with humility, to analyze those conversations in the context in which the conversations were made, and to understand them in a common language, which would mean we'd have to talk. Those discussions would take place in different languages, different dialects, so that they were genuine and not from people who are interviewed and who often will want to give the answers that the interviewer wants to hear. So it was an attempt, and that has been the basis of what we then set up as the Africa's Voices Foundation, where this particular individual, Sharath Srinivasan, came from Cambridge to do research here away from London, and he spent, I suppose it was about 3 years, based in Nairobi, which for various reasons we thought is a good focal point from which to do it.